De slogan van de VUB is redelijk eigenzinnig.
Dat is een van de dingen van de VUB, zeker eigenzinnig.
Ja, dat staat zo overal op de brochures en zo.
We hebben een slogan.
Redelijk eigenzinnig. Reasonably self-willed.
De slogan, redelijk eigenzinnig.
VUB, redelijk eigenzinnig.
Why do we punish? What is the effectiveness of punishment? Why is prison so popular, although we know that it does not reduce crime? What is better for society? What are the emotional aspects of punishing people? And what is more important? Do we want to feel safe by having effective reactions to crime or just emotional reactions to crime? You can't discuss these issues without referring to David Garland. He is in fact Scottish but moved to New York University. He is there now professor in law and in sociology. It's not so natural to combine it. So you have lawyers studying punishment, but that is usually in an internal science. I would say they look at punishment within the system, and sociologists may look from outside, or historians may look from outside. He has always tried to understand the complexities of punishment in our modern societies and the changes also. The United States for the moment is the only Western entity where death penalty is still applied, where people are still executed. So his question is, why has it happened? Why is the present as it is now? The Supreme Court in the United States has justified the death penalty because a majority of the American public support death penalty. And they state that in fact they have no reason to contradict what 70% of the public think is acceptable. Will that also be the case in Europe? Will that be the case for Belgium? Or can it be different? The important question is democracy. Very often democracy is understood as the will of the majority. But that has also been described as the tyranny of the majority. Because if the majority decides to exterminate the minority, then it would still be a democracy. David, would you agree that in a democracy, crime and punishment are too important to leave to public opinion? If you look at the analysis that David Garland has given us for the United States and United Kingdom, and has raised himself the question whether Europe is going into the same direction. Everybody's becoming more punitive, human rights are not important anymore, victims are important, but only in the sense that we should become more punitive for offenders. Rights of suspects, rights of prisoners are as important as rights of victims. Victims should not be asked to forgive their offenders. They have the right to be angry. The question is whether that should influence punishment by the state. If you have a victim who is not revengeful, who has forgiven the offender for any kind of reason, then the punishment will be more lenient than if you have a victim for exactly the same offense who is revengeful, who is angry, and has a right to be so. Do you think individual victims should have an influence on the punishment of their offender, even if this results in very unequal and unjust punishment?